Yeah.
Yeah. Presentation of information.
No, it's under the curriculum and instruction. Yeah. It's a little, not really.
Good evening. Today is Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. Today is a regular session of the Board of the School Trustees of the School City of East Chicago. The time is now 6:02 p.m. The place is School City of East Chicago Administration Building, 1401 East 144th Street, and that's in East Chicago, Indiana, 46312. This is also being streamed via www.secec.k12.in.us. This is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. We ask that people be respectful of our presenters as we will have a couple tonight. Can I please have a roll call?
Trustee Rodriguez.
Present.
Trustee Gomez.
Present.
Trustee Williams.
Present.
Trustee Smith.
Present.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Present. Can we please rise for the pledge of allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item we have on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Can I please have a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Madam President, I move for approval.
Trustee Gomez makes the motion for approval.
Second.
Rodriguez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Ms. Brigham, roll call please.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trustee Gomez.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. The next item on the agenda is presentation and information. Dr. Finley, School Calendar Committee.
I'm going to say that I want to defer to our two committee members who are here right now to share the committee, the 22-23 school calendar.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
How are you? We volunteered to be in the committee. I have been in it for several years under different administration, but I felt that I always like to, to give my services, of course. But we was like eight of us in this committee. Dr. Finley, of course, Mr. David Lane, Helen, Arlene Rodich, Leanna Stevenson, Maria Lopez, and Melissa Burgess. We came here at least 3 or 4 times. We met, and Dr. Finley gave us some examples of different calendars. And with those examples and the collaboration of our team, we came up with our own. And it was a very positive collaboration. We heard each other, respected each other, and it was a very good decision what we came up with. Ms. Helen brought in a calendar herself. She put something together, things that we talked about, and she put together for us, and it was greatly appreciated.
I think one of the things that helped this year too was having the survey that we sent out, so we could get some ideas about what was working and what didn't work necessarily. And so having those ideas from other people helped a lot, because sometimes you're working in isolation and you don't always get to hear those things. So our calendar included, yes, that definitely was happening, definitely positive.
It was great.
Everything was very positive. And we can go to the next page, Jeremy. So we're gonna have an e-learning day each month, except for in December.
Right.
And because we're getting rid of the late start Wednesday. So that way we'll be able to schedule professional development, we'll be able to have those meetings, and the teachers will be working all day long when we have those e-learning days, instead of just an hour here and an hour there, a lot of us felt that that late start Wednesday wasn't working.
Correct. It was, for an administrator, we had to come up every Wednesday with something creative, something with purpose. And it's very difficult, but having just having a professional development, it's super in an e-learning day. We can just, have things planned out accordingly with purpose.
So some of the highlights in the calendar, this November 1st date is actually election day, so we made sure that there was an e-learning day on that day. We're going back to the week-long break at Thanksgiving because a lot of the administrators said because of all the call-offs that sometimes we can't, we don't have enough personnel in the building on those days. So we went back to having that whole week off there. We still have the 2-week break at Christmas time. This is the fall break. So we compared, other districts to see what they were doing as well. And then here's our spring break. And then the holiday for Good Friday. And then even with those breaks and stuff like that, the kids will be getting out before Memorial Day, and then the last teacher day will be on the 26th. And then one thing to note here is the kids will be starting on a Wednesday, so they won't be here the whole first week every day. The teachers will start on Monday and the kids will come on Wednesday.
So all in all, I think that this was a positive collaboration, a great schedule, and using other people's ideas, and coming up with a pretty decent calendar this year for next year. Awesome job.
Questions?
Madam President,
Trustee Gomez.
just so you know, election day is the first Tuesday after the first Monday.
Oh.
In November. So that'll have to be modified.
So
Okay, we always thought it was the first Tuesday.
I
Okay,
did too. That's what we thought too.
It says the first Tuesday after the first Monday.
all right, that's an easy fix.
Yeah, that's.
I have a question regarding, I think I've been pretty public about, while I was initially opposed to when I first got on the board, initially opposed to a balanced calendar. I think even given the time now, I'm even more so inclined to be in favor of that. And my big concern is looking at June, July, June and July. And if you were to follow that calendar into the following school year, you're looking at almost 10 weeks of kids being out of school. And that really, really concerns me, especially as we talk about learning loss in this school district in particular, again, across the country. I don't know if that's been a consideration of the calendar committee, but I strongly believe in a balanced calendar, and I just want to go on record saying that. I'd like to hear your comments on that.
Calendar committee, yes.
Okay. Christina Gutierrez. One part that we also realized was that we were being really
Good, thank you.
that we weren't being as effective as we could be with our summer school program. And part of that was because we either had 2 weeks or 3 weeks. This allows us to have 5 full flowing weeks into our summer school program, where we can really have the kids and benefit with working with the data and getting just extra time with them. So even though it looks like June, we won't be doing anything, we will be doing a lot. And so that'll benefit us with having those 5 solid weeks. We know that we can have them manned because we know that the admin has their contract to the 30th, so we don't have to worry about going over that, and then still giving people some time to, come back refreshed.
And I'd also like to add too, because this did come up, we did talk about this in full transparency, that's why I was smiling. And we did say that it will take a lot more than just us making that decision as school district of East Chicago employees, but you also need community feedback. You have to find out what your community needs are, and you have to be able, because once you go into this balanced calendar idea, you're now talking about more kids being at home instead of just over the summer. They may be home for 2 weeks over Christmas or Thanksgiving, whatever however which way you develop the schedule. It's scheduled for 12 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So now we could possibly be interrupting our community, but it's in our best interest to weigh in and get feedback from them as we start to talk about a balanced calendar. That is
Right.
definitely a community initiative.
Yes, it was mentioned. So we need everybody's hands on deck, basically, to get this going.
Are there any questions? Trustee Gomez, you-
Yeah, that's a change of point of view. Because in essence, wouldn't those 5 weeks in June be essentially voluntary?
Well, for third grade, for some of them, but
If we have credit recovery for our high school students, they do have those credit options for the kids to come back, and for them, they would need to notify parents how they did this year and what was still necessary. So yes, it would be volunteer, but we also have our third grade that we have the iRead, that it would be mandatory for them to come in for the summer program. So I think it's just a matter of really letting our community know how well planned out we will be for summer school, how much planning we're taking place, looking at data, having different interventions, and allowing the parents to make an informed decision. The more they know about what we're doing in summer school, I think it'll help them, be comfortable with sending them to the school. And a lot of our parents do look for summer options, whether it's a summer camp or anything just to keep their kids active. So I think that if we do a good job at relaying our plan to the community, that'll bring more of our parents to have their kids join.
And I think that I've heard a lot about options, and I'm glad we're considering them. I just don't know that it seems like there's always options and we don't stick with something because it doesn't happen to work. It happens to not work. And to me, this traditional calendar is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So I appreciate your efforts, but I just don't agree with it.
Madam President, with regards to just one item that Jesse mentioned, and I just looked on the website to confirm that it is November 8th is election day. So I noticed that November 1st, you have, is that what's yellow and?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
it's
we
an
made
e-learning
it
day.
e-learning day, was because
Okay,
we thought
gotcha.
that was election day.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah,
Yeah, I can make a motion.
okay, thank you.
Just a couple of things, well, two. One, we did move up the week for entering school, correct?
Because
So then that has, children will be coming into school ahead of time. The second thing is, I heard something that was very important to me as a community member was that you did surveys. Was that amongst the teachers or?
teachers and staff, it went out to the whole
Yeah, everyone.
ECPS
We went
district.
over it during our late start.
And I just think to trustee Gomez's just comment, we probably do need to, if we start moving towards a year-round schedule. I mean, I've heard year-round, I've heard 4 days a week only. I've heard so many things that people are trying to kind of just dabble with. Just to make sure we have the community survey. Mind you, when we asked for a superintendent, we only got 33 in the community to respond to a survey, superintendent questions. But regardless, I would love to see that effort to go out and to get them to respond, especially the parents, because this does affect them at the end of the day. So if that's a thought for upcoming years, we probably need to start doing the back end work now for them.
Right.
But thank you for the calendar. I'm happy to see them when they start. So, personally, thank you very much. Any more questions? Thank you. The next item for presentation or just information will be the school board meeting calendar. So from what was discussed with the superintendent as well as other administrative staff, there was a kind of a quick turnaround when it came to the docket for approval from a Monday to Wednesday turnaround and to get everything in from the staff as well as administration. This was the reason why we asked, or not we, but they asked for us to go to a Monday to Monday schedule. On the calendar, you can actually see that some of the dates are for a Tuesday, and that's if there is a holiday on that Monday. So it does also give opportunity for community members to be able to go to other meetings throughout the city. So overall, I think this works out in favor of the community members as well as the school board. If there are any questions, please let us know. Dr. Fielding, if you wanted to add to that.
No, there's nothing else I'd like to add to that, but just I really appreciate the board's support on this. As you just indicated, it's critical for us with personnel, it's critical for us with the claim docket, and some other things that we have staff trying to meet timelines on to be able to hit this every 2 weeks, just into a sync into a rhythm.
Are there any questions? All right, next we'll go to the business portion of the meeting. The first item is approval of minutes. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, I make a motion to approve minutes.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval. Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Ms. Vega, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez.
Yes.
Trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
yes,
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item number 2, approval of claim docket. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, go ahead, I'm sorry,
Motion for approval. Trustee Smith seconds the motion.
yes,
Okay. What is the pleasure of the board? I'm sorry, are there any questions? Ms. Brigham, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
yes,
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item number 3, approval of personnel report. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, I'd like to move for approval of the personnel report with the exception of doc number 2740.
Is there an approval for, is there a second for approval of personnel report with the exception of 2740?
I'll second that motion.
Trustee Rodriguez seconds the motion. Are there any questions?
I just like to know what moving 2740.
I'm sorry.
Is that for further discussion or what?
I apologize. I didn't hear you, Ms. Smith, Trustee Smith. Yes, for further discussion.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
What is the pleasure? I'm sorry, are there any other questions? Ms. Brewer.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
No.
trustee Smith,
No,
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item number 4, approval of distribution of payroll. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, I move for approval of distribution of payroll.
Trustee Gomez makes a motion for approval.
I'll second.
Trustee Rodriguez seconds the motion. What is the pleasure? Are there any questions? Ms. Bingham.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
yes,
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item number 5, approval of donation report. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, make a motion to approve donations.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
I'll second that.
Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Ms. Bingham, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
yes,
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item number 6, approval of fundraiser report. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, I move for approval of fundraiser report.
Trustee Gomes makes a motion for approval.
second,
Trustee Smith seconds the motion.
Is this right, Madam President? I'm sorry, is this right or 6 or 7?
I'm sorry, 6, approval of fundraiser report. Are there any questions? Ms. Bigum.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez.
Yes.
Trustee Williams,
Yes.
I'm sorry, trustee Smith,
yes,
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item number 7, approval of agreement with Chicago State University. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, make a motion to approve.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
second,
Trustee Williams seconds the motion. Are there any questions?
Madam President,
Trustee Rodriguez.
I just wanted to make sure that this is actually, the attorney had an opportunity to review this. It looks like it's your form, that 2 pages.
I did review it. I did know though that there is one case that's not reflected on this document that will be changed, the version that gets executed, and that's on page 5, paragraph D3. It currently reads that it'll be governed pursuant to the laws of the state of Illinois, and it'll be changed again. Outside of that, it is what.
Are there any other questions? Ms. Bigum.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez.
Yes.
Trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
yes,
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item number 8, approval of transportation collective bargaining agreement. Dr. Fink.
I'm going to defer to our attorney, Dave Dixon, for this particular topic.
This is what was discussed with the board by my partner, Dan Friel, in executive session. The members of the committee that negotiated this were, oh, I'm sorry. This was the agreement that was shared with the board in exec session by my partner, Dan Friel. The members of the committee, which were Dan and Leela, and also for the bargaining unit, Tony Hopperich, who is our union steward, and Mr. Mobley, who's an aide, negotiated the items that were shared with you at the last meeting.
Madam President, make a motion to approve the agreement.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Oh, and I'm sorry, I was talking to our attorney, but I just want to make sure we had representation from bus transportation, the union, our side. I just want to make sure everyone was there.
Correct.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Ms. Bingham?
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
yes,
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item number 9, approval of maintenance vehicle agreements. Dr. Fink.
I'm going to defer to our CFO, Ms. Simmons, for this, for the next 2 topics.
So this is the maintenance agreement for the box truck, correct? I don't have the agenda, I'm sorry. So, for several years that we have been leasing our box truck from a company. And the money that we have been paying for lease, we feel like now it's time to purchase our own box truck and have it with a maintenance agreement. And it'll be ours in the district. We won't have to pay for the leasing price, also the mileage price, also anything that needs to be fixed on the truck. And that's all the stuff that we were paying for over the lease.
Thank you. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, move for approval.
Trustee Gomez makes a motion for approval.
second,
Trustee Smith seconds the approval. Are there any questions?
Madam President,
Trustee Gomez.
I have a question. I just want to make a comment. I think it's finally time that we got to this and we got it right. I think for the 6 years I was on the board previous, every time something like this came up, I found it fiscally irresponsible. So I'm glad we're moving in this direction. Thank you.
Superintendent, really, I just wanted to, you gave us the numbers when we first had the conversation of the cost savings. I think it's important to know the cost savings that we're actually going into.
Absolutely. So our current lease, after 6 years, we would pay $106,848, okay? That's in our current situation. And our new situation, and that did not include maintenance, if memory serves me correctly. Correct. Okay?
The total amount of 67.
The new truck that the board is hopefully going to approve tonight is 67,000, which includes a maintenance agreement for the next 4 years. You're welcome.
Are there any other questions? Ms. Bingham?
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez.
Yes.
Trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item number 10, approval of mileage memo. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, move for approval.
Trustee Gomez makes a motion for approval.
I'll second that motion.
Trustee Rodriguez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? And Dr. Finley, I apologize. I should have let you kind of explain what it was.
Every year, the IRS updates the mileage, and this is really a non-negotiable. We just update it and follow what the IRS government says that we need to do. So that's what we're seeking approval for tonight.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? Ms. Bingham, roll call please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item number 11, approval of the 22-23 school year calendar with the amendments
Yes.
of the November 8th date.
Changing the first to the eighth.
Correct. Let's change it first. The first to the 8th. Is there a motion for approval?
Madam President, make a motion to approve as amended.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Ms. Bingham, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item number 12, approval of termination of MOU with Streamlab Solutions, Dr. Finley.
We are requesting that the board approve this termination of the MOU with Streamlabs. If you recall, the last meeting I did come trying to organize and add additional support to the community around COVID-19 testing. This specific partner was not able to execute according to their agreement, so we're seeking approval of termination of this agreement.
Madam President, make a motion to terminate the MOU.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Gomez makes a motion. Seconds the motion. Are there any questions?
Madam President,
Yes.
not a question, but again, a comment that I was very uncomfortable with this group. As I think we can all recall from our last meeting. This does not surprise me. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item number 13, approval of interventionist agreement, Connie Jones. Dr. Finley.
This interventionist agreement we're seeking approval for is for an individual to work at Lincoln Elementary. She will coordinate and collaborate with teachers on how to monitor the data, assess students, and some other supports that are needed in our district at this time.
What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, make a motion to approve.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Williams seconds the motion. Are there any questions?
Madam President.
Trustee Gomez.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions. I guess I have a few questions and I think about it. So first one is who does this person report to?
According to the agreement, she reports directly to the principal. And or our curriculum coordinator who is here today, Mrs. Gutierrez.
That was gonna be my second question.
Yes.
So has Ms. Gutierrez been involved in this?
Yes, she is definitely involved in all of this.
And what role, if any, does the relationship between Ms. Driscoll and this role have? Driscoll?
Fiscal has no relationship with this. This is all about the elementary data, learning, instruction, not with ESL. I'm sorry, EL.
And so the other question I have then is this individual is reporting to the principal at the high school. I'm curious why we're picking this school and why we're not doing the same activity for the other schools.
We are doing the same activity. Every school in the district after tonight, if you approve the next one, we'll have an interventionist in every building.
So the interventionist at Washington is
Ms. Renee Jessup.
Ms. Jessup. Okay.
So everyone has an interventionist now.
Okay, and then, given that these are, that this is a part-time contract, how does this work moving forward? We're addressing an issue for 5 months here, what have you. What's the expectation and how do we see this role or Ms. Gutierrez's role moving forward?
Well, Mrs. Gutierrez's role, she is an actual employee, so she will be here as long as the performance is satisfactory, of course. But as far as this interventionist, it's a contract, and our goal really is to get licensed teachers in our district. That is the issue that we're faced with. We have, in true transparency, when I started here as an interim assistant superintendent, we had 69 teachers without licenses. So having 69 teachers in the district without licenses is a huge struggle, and it's a huge opportunity too for our principals to then work with individuals one-on-one, but they don't have the bandwidth. So these interventionists who are licensed, educated professionals can come alongside our unlicensed and our licensed teachers to help them in the areas of English language arts, to help us meet not just state standard, but because that's a win when we do that, but to make sure that our kids are able to read and write. That is the real win, is our kids are able to read and write.
Will this position or any interventionist be required to do in-classroom instruction?
Yes, they are. This particular one, according to the scope of service, the principals guide and direct that. So this particular one shall instruct small groups of licensed and unlicensed teachers. The next one that you're going to see will work with small groups of students. We work with our attorney Harris on each one of the agreements to go through and specify specific duties that we want these individuals to provide.
And I'm addressing this as a issue of classroom instruction. In other words, teacher A is off of that day. Does this person go in the classroom and essentially be the substitute teacher for that day?
Well, here's the other side of it. This individual that you are referring to will only be in the district 1 day a week.
I understand that.
So I can't say what won't happen, but I hope it does not. So I'm not going to commit to that. Because when you're working in the building, when your teachers need you, your principals need you, you go where you need it. I have a principal here, Mrs. Quiroga, Mrs. Gutierrez used to be a principal. I was a principal, you go where you need it. So we have to put staff where we need them.
So if this person chooses not to be in the classroom that day, instead follow the terms of this contract, what issues arise from that?
We do have a written contract that we talk about prohibited conduct, and we talk about the termination of the agreement, which is a standard contract written by our attorney Harris.
So I don't see that within this contract.
Yep, it's on page 5.
I'm not speaking about the termination. I'm speaking about the roles that are defined.
The roles are defined on page 2.
I see where I see a scope of service.
Yep, that's what
Nowhere in
that's,
there do I see where this individual may be called upon to be in the classroom functioning as a teacher. Madam President, I'd like a response, please.
I mean, what do you want me to say at this point?
I asked you a question.
Well, the trustee Gomez, the terms are in the contract. I'll say this, we had an opportunity before this meeting to answer and address all of these questions.
I'm asking the question now, though.
I understand that.
In the contract, it does state, so I just wanna, you wanted it to specifically say as a teacher, because it says shall provide contractor written notice of additional tasks if any it wishes contractor to perform. You wanted specifically state that you wanted a teacher.
No, I'm asking the question, if a day comes where this individual is in the district and that day happens to be the role that this person is supposed to fill, and there's a teacher that is off, is this person then going to be forced, and I hate to use the word forced, but I'm going to use it, into the classroom? Because that's not what this says. This says that this is clearly outside of the classroom of a function, not a function as a teacher.
Contractor on page 1 at the very bottom, contractor should perform all tasks requested in writing by SCEC, except or unless contractor immediately advises SCEC in writing of his reason for refusing to do so. That's at the bottom of page 1, top of page 2.
And so a simple document to, by that individual saying that they are not going to be teaching in the classroom suffices, and still, and we still honor this contract.
We have to both agree on this. Am I correct in saying that, Attorney Harris? According to top of page 2,
In order to do what?
in order to change the scope of service.
Yes.
Both have to agree. So if they don't agree, then we terminate the contract. That's how I'm reading that.
Yes, that's true. Catch-all though for additional services is that line that Dr. Finley read. Contractor shall perform all tasks requested in writing by School City of Chicago. So in that scenario that you're describing, I think what would happen is there would be a memo written to the interventionist. I don't know by who. That's something for Dr. Finley to answer, but they would be issued some directive in writing that this is what you're being asked to do. That's what that line contemplates.
It seems to me that we're holding a contractor to essentially obligations outside of what's the scope of service here, and saying basically, if we tell you to go through the garbage, you gotta go through the garbage. You know, I have an issue with that, and also the question why we would be hiring somebody to do function A and then have them do function B. That doesn't make sense. I guess my further question would be, then what happens at that point in time when contractor ends up in the classroom? What scale do they get paid at? So a number of questions.
Okay, well, I in my professional opinion, I think we can make our decision and we can vote and go from there. Am I correct in saying so? Okay.
You are absolutely correct.
Okay.
You are absolutely correct. You know that as a school board member as well.
I do.
Any other questions?
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez,
No.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item 14, approval of interventionist agreement, Susan Weisgap. And I'm assuming it's the same thing as the previous. So what is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, I make a motion for approval.
Trustee Williams makes the motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Rodriguez seconds the motion. Are there any questions?
Madam President,
Trustee Gomez.
so back to Attorney Harris, if I can you tell me the purposes of that section of requesting a contractor to work outside of the scope of services that are defined right before that sentence?
Your question is what's the purpose?
Yes.
So that's a catch-all that's in most of these standard forms of contract. It really is intended to cover the exception rather than the rule. So in the event there's a need that's out of the norm, you won't get a refusal from the other party. I don't think the intention is for it to be abused. Like the example you gave, if you were asked to throw out the trash. Yep, that's an example that could happen, but it's extreme. I don't think, they're all professionals. I don't think they would go and ask someone to actually do that. But I mean, I understand the question, but I think it's just intended to cover the exception rather than the rule.
And so I guess I would have, what is a possible scenario where that happens for this individual, not for the previous one, for this one?
Yeah, I think it's more of a question for Dr. Finley or someone that's in the building. I don't know the scenarios. That's not really, legal. It's more practical. I don't know what the scenarios might be.
The question, I'm sorry, the question was, what would be an example of us requiring a contractor to do something outside of the scope of service? To me, a contractor should be, you're going to do project A, and that's all you're going to focus on. That is what I envision a contractor to do. Leaving this door open is of concern to me of how it could be used. And then if both parties don't agree, the contractor's out. So you almost forcing the hand of the contractor. And I don't see that as being productive. I think the scope of service should be left as a scope of service, and that's it.
We're in the business of educating and nurturing and kids with students. We are in the business of nurturing and educating and supporting our staff. We are in the middle of a pandemic. We've never had this before, not in my lifetime, not in any of our lifetimes. So it may be a time that we have to ask people to do something that go sit in the classroom. You're a licensed professional, you're a licensed educator. I would hope that the individuals that our principals have sought out to partner with to come into their buildings to be an interventionist would understand that these kids, that our students, our staff need their supports on this really rough journey. That's what I would hope. And if we're not doing that as leaders in our district to pick the right people out, then I have to question the leadership of our principals.
And to add to Dr. Finley in support, I have to say, when we are in the school building, I think all of us go above and beyond what our scope of work is. And that's because we do help the child. And while I understand this is a contractor and want to put every defined element, you really can't. Working in the athletic department, I know myself and Coach Pete, we were doing tutoring, and we were doing talking to parents and talking to a child who came in crying for whatever happened today. We have nurses who are here. I'm sure they've given food, they've done above and beyond. So I think we would want to make sure that people do what's in the best interest of the child at any point in time. So, yeah.
And I don't have any questions that individuals do that, including yourself, Madam President. I'm just saying that my view of this contract is if somebody doesn't comply, they've got to come back to the school district and say, well, I want to do this. And then the school district has an opportunity to essentially remove them from this contract. Because they're not abiding by this one sentence here. I think a lot of people want to help kids. I think you're putting them in a position that they're gonna have to do it, and that may not be something that they're comfortable doing. I'd like to keep our contractors doing contract work.
And which, Trustee Gomez, I think that's 100% true. I would agree with that. You're right. You might ask them to do something different, But this contract, in my opinion, and I think this is what our attorney does, works for us, this contract is a favor for us. So if they're not doing what we ask for them, if they're not putting the child first, then we are able to cancel that contract. So, are there any more questions?
I just got one question.
Trustee Rodriguez.
With regards to pretty much, we'll just stick with this contract. With regards to this particular contract, how often do you have a contractor sit in the classrooms?
This is at the principal's discretion. Once you all approve, who you approve, they go to the building and they do what the principal asks them to do. We've not had any complaints from any contractors to say we're not satisfied. Typically, the individuals that are listed as our contractors right now are individuals that have relationships with the principal. And they come alongside the principal and knock on their door, hey, how can I help you? It's not, we're seeking out, it's not a position posted. It's, we have the resources, we have the funds, and they're in partnership with the interventionist typically that's working in their building. So this is not a position we're seeking out. This is our building principal saying, we have these dollars in our building. We want to use these dollars in this way. We should give them that latitude to use their title dollars the way that they like to use them instead of dictating to them how to use them.
And President, I think Trustee Rodriguez was more direct than that. I think he asked how often does it happen?
Back to what I said, what the response is, what I said, it's with the principal's discretion, it's their discretion.
Are there any other questions?
So it's possible that it don't happen.
It's highly likely, it probably does not happen at all. But if we need it to happen, then it's gonna happen. You know, we were out yesterday distributing wipes on a Saturday, on a Monday. Ms. Simmons and I took, you do what you have to do in the community where you're serving, or you shouldn't serve.
Are there any other questions? Trustee Gomez, Trustee Rodriguez. I think also to add to that, this is the first year we've had interventionists, so I don't think you can actually say how many people were there, how many not. So it's probably, and they've been in at different times. We just hired a one last meeting, so probably they have that data per se, the percentage of if that happens.
Maybe I should have brought my question to any contract. But in this case, since this one was on the floor, I think I'm this one. But any contractor, pretty much, that they they're bound by the principle in terms of if there's any emergencies or
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. I'm a contractor. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to get the job done is what we're doing.
Are there any other questions?
Madam President,
Trustee?
with this intervention that's being approved, that will make an intervention in every school.
And every elementary school now has an intervention. Yep, once these, this next one, yes.
Okay. Elementary school. Thank you.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Any other questions? Ms. Figum, roll call please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez.
No.
Trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Item number 15, approval of extended contract with Linda Martinez, Dr. Figum.
We're coming to that time of the year. And open enrollment on retirement. Retirements that are due on March the 1st. Open enrollment for insurance and summer school and getting ready for next year. We know that we need the additional hands. So we're seeking approval of Rosalinda Martinez's contract to June 30th of 2022.
What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, I move for approval.
Trustee Gomez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Smith seconds the motion. Are there any questions?
Madam President,
Trustee Gomez.
and I'm sorry, I'm not gonna I'm reading through this all right now, trying to find it, maybe Attorney Harris can help me. Is the same language in this contract as the other two that we just spoke on?
Yes.
Where's that at?
Yes, it's on page 1, number 2.
Formatting.
Okay, I was looking for, okay, thank you. If you don't mind, Madam President, let me have a second to review this.
Excuse me.
Okay, I read it.
You have a follow-up question?
I'm sorry, no, I don't, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Perfect.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez.
Yes, item number 16, approval of resolution 2022-01, maintaining nonpartisan school board elections. Trustee Gomez.
Madam President, a few months ago had asked about the the fear that I and I think many other people had about the state legislature considering moving school board elections to either to partisan, where someone has to declare as a Democrat, Republican, or perhaps as an independent. And Attorney Harris drafted the resolution based on the information that it provided to him from the Indiana School Board Association. And basically, or maybe I'll let him speak a little bit to it, but the basic effort here is to depoliticize public education. And if Attorney Harris wants to weigh in on this, I know it's going to go to the state legislature.
Yes, it has, and basically these are the elements that the ISBA has kind of outlined and encouraged its members to promote. So, you know, I do applaud the efforts made by Trustee Gomez and all the other trustees to bring this resolution to the floor for action. I think if this is approved, it should be provided to our local state legislators so that they can use that in the process of working towards defeating this legislative action.
That being said, if I could add just one other comment, that if we do approve this evening, I'd also like to see it go to neighboring school boards in Lake County at least, so that if they haven't addressed this as a resolution, they would have a template that can use on their end. Thank you.
What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, I move for approval.
Trustee Gomez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Smith seconds the motion. Any questions?
Madam President,
Trustee Rodriguez.
just one comment in terms of this particular resolution. When it was recently given to us, was like Jesse said a couple months ago. I think there's now a House bill, there was possibly a Senate bill. Can those be added to this resolution now since there is one?
Yes, I think that's a good suggestion, yes. And I don't see that as a substantive change, so I don't think the motion needs to be amended. I can make that addition.
I'm good.
Are there any more questions?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
May-
question?
Yes, may I speak on that particular House bill? I hope I'm getting it right, Trustee Gomez, but this bill sent Tuesday afternoon. There were 20 people, including seven school board members from across the state who testified in opposition to the bill. Not one single person testified in support of this bill. The bill was held without a vote and is not on the committee agenda for its hearing next week.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just a bit of information.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. Now we're going to, section F, curriculum and instruction, superintendent, we have tutoring on board.
Actually, I'm gonna defer to Mrs. Gutierrez.
Okay, good evening. I want to take this opportunity just to inform our community as well as the school board with things that are happening in the curricular realm as well as instruction in our buildings. Right now, we're getting ready to go through our elementary tutoring plan. We did postpone it to January 24th, and if you notice, we do have it in 3 sessions. So we are encouraging parents who are watching tonight, community members to share with their churches that we do have other sessions available in case they missed signing up, but I believe all of our elementaries are accepting students to our tutoring plan, which starts January 24th. We'll go all the way to May 18th. You'll notice that some of these sessions happen during our iLearn time, and then we want to be very purposeful with our session 3 with making sure our students get the iRead mandatory remediation by the state. Our schedule, we're going to have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so it'll be 3 days a week at the elementary. We are focusing on Monday and Tuesday doing reading instruction, and Wednesday focusing just on math. Because we're limited in time, instead of going from a half an hour to a half an hour, we really looked at it helpful to give them a full hour of each instruction. Our middle school and high school have tutoring plans as well, but theirs vary in time and their frequency. So our middle school, we do have Ms. Q here, has worked with her staff. They start also on the 24th, and they'll be moving all the way up to iLearn, which is March 17th. They will do 4 days a week, and they'll have their time right after school, 3:35 to 5:15. Their focus is going to be ELA and math as well, and they have partnered with, as well as all the buildings, with Sodexo to make sure our kids that stay after are served a snack/dinner for the evening. And of course, our district is providing transportation. Our high school plan, Mr. Brown does have our high school plan. I don't have it up there though, but he presented, I believe, before Christmas break with the details, but they are also offering the high school tutoring plan. These are just some considerations that we took. We made sure that we used, once again, the planning, the curriculum, small group, focused curriculum. All of our teachers, K through 8, have a curriculum design plan separate from the curriculum maps, and also using our most current, ready middle of the year data. Go ahead, Jimmy. Besides our tutoring plan, just to keep you updated with what's happening in testing. Right now, we're currently doing WIDA, and that's a test for all of our ESL students, and that's happening K through 12 throughout the district. And it's a very lengthy test for our babies, and so we're testing all the way up into the window of February 25th for them. We do get growth points for our ESL students, and so that is what's happening right now. The high school is currently taking their HMH growth test, just like the middle school and the elementary takes the benchmarking. This is their benchmarking. It's the time for the high school to reflect on the academic performance of their students. So they started today, and I talked to Mr. Tokars, and it's going well. He's also on top of our I-STEP testing that will be happening February 7th. Mr. Tokars is the instructional leader at the high school. He already has the schedule out. He has ordered what he needs for the testing, so we're right on target with everything happening. You'll notice at the elementary, we have 2 more testings, the NAEP testing, and so that is an involuntary test for the state that we have to participate in, and so Harrison and Washington were chosen, and so they have a separate February 2nd test that they have to take for the state's recommendations. So we're all up to date with our testing, but looks like we're testing the rest of the school year. That kind of what happens at all the levels. Next one. We also have kicked off our Edmonton Virtual Academy. We did a very soft launch because we don't know what we don't know. So we're kind of working through all the kinks. We currently have 5 students enrolled in the academy. We did an orientation for our leadership. We did an orientation for the responsible parties. We also had a parent orientation, and we went through the application process. And so it actually kicked off today. And so students were able to go in and start the academy. It's not 5 days a week. Some of them are like 2 or 3 times virtual, depending on what tier, if you're elementary, middle school, or high school. Our success coaches are provided from Edmonton. They partner with us to make sure our kids are actually participating in the program. So that's our first tier. And then we also have our elementary principals and our counselors trained on how to monitor the grades virtually. Our deans were trained on how to monitor the attendance. Nancy Johnson, who is the district, helps our parents to have the access. Myself and Michelle Navarro work with the curriculum and making sure that the counselors are giving the high school students the appropriate courses that they need to keep on track for their core 40. And then George Ontiveros helps us with our families in case there's any tech issues. So we just started this week, and so far so good. And like we said, we'd like to see a lot more positive, because this could possibly be something that we look out for other situations. Right now, we're just using it for medical clauses, but I'm excited to see that it could possibly be successful for some of our other school city students. Thank you.
Trustee Williams, do you have a question?
No, the screen just went away, but it was in regards to the elementary school testing. When we have approximately maybe I can speak in regards to my granddaughter. My granddaughter is a 3rd grader, and I see that the first testing was taking place February 20th through January 20th through February 20th. Are they testing these kids individually, or are they being tested as a class?
Specifically for WIDA, it's an individual test because it goes off of their spoken ability, their writing, and so WIDA is usually done individually.
Okay. That was my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Gutierrez. Appreciate you. Trustee Gomez.
I have a question regarding the tutoring. I'm sorry if I don't think I saw it on there, Ms. Gutierrez, but how many kids do you think would be, eligible for tutoring that would be non-English speakers, and how do we treat those children, those students?
Are you speaking for our ESL population?
Yes.
So our tutoring is open to all of our grade levels. So our teachers are trained with the PSYOP training. So regardless if they're ESL, they do have that differentiation toolbox to use. But no matter what criteria they fall in, what subgroup, all students are invited, including special ed, to our tutoring program.
Oh, that's great to hear. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Thank you again. Dr. Finley, assessment?
Oh, that was everything.
Oh, all of it?
Yeah, she took care of everything.
Okay.
Yeah, that was tutoring, assessment, and virtual learning.
All righty, now
Did
we're
it
going to
all.
superintendent's remarks.
Yeah, we did it all. Good job, thank you. I want to say thank you to the calendar committee, because you guys came in early in the morning on Wednesday. Sometimes it's very cold as we started this out, but at the end of the day, it was exactly what the committee stated. It was a committee full of positive collaboration. We worked through some of the pain points, which weren't a lot, and we came together on a collaborative calendar that we thought would benefit our students. I want to say thank you to the board, because now we get to plan. This is really important that we start planning now for the summer, so or for next school year rather. So we're excited. So thank you so much for those of you who are here tonight. Want to say thank you to our, I asked Nurse Bobo, who is our district nurse coordinator, and I've asked Ms. Kamisha Smith, who is our COVID navigator, to come this evening because they are my right and left hand. Mr. Doctor's on it too, but all of us work together in collaboration, sometimes on the weekends, to make sure that we get what we have to get done in response to COVID. So I want to talk about our return to learn plan because we do have one of our partners here, Ms. Eve Gomez as well. Our return to learn plan, we have an on-site testing provider to administer saliva PCR to test to both staff and students as well as their families. We do have our COVID navigator. I'd like Ms. Smith to stand on up if she could. She is our COVID navigator. She helps us with contact tracing for our students in the entire district. And our staff. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Same thing for Nurse Bobo. Thank you so much. You want to, yes, you still stand up. It's like, we know who you are. Thank you. Opening the schools and making sure that we have our transition back into class successfully does not happen without you all coming together to keep us as the medical professionals, because that's not my job. I stay in my lane. Your job is medical. My job is all the other fun stuff. So thank you. We have an abundance of PPE, and I'll share with you why I say that in a minute. We also have vaccinations are available to eligible individuals starting at age 5. Something I share with the board and I share with the entire staff is that we gathered academic data from last semester's pass-fail rate. Please note, we spent the majority of our time learning in person this last semester. So that would be from August of 2021 to December 2021. And we compared it to January 21 to December of January 2021 to March or April of 2021, whenever you guys wrapped up. We spent the majority of our time online learning. Every school in this district had more students pass during the in-person delivery model versus online. So I did share that with the entire staff. Just another update in collaboration with our East Chicago Health Department as well as our nursing staff. We have decreased our quarantine time for staff and students from 10 to 7 days. We've also increased our threshold for building closures if necessary. For example, if Block has 495 students, so we will move to live virtual instruction if we hit the number 49, which is 10% for a number of staff positive or students positive, as well as post-quarantine. So we've modified that in conjunction and alignment with CDC policies. We encourage everyone to stay home if you are sick. Please wear a mask, stay socially distanced, wash your hands often. And we encourage those eligible to please get vaccinated, and you can refer to our website for additional information. Speaking of PPE, shout out to Teachers Treasure. Last Thursday, we were supposed to get a semi-truckload full of Lysol wipes, just one. So we thought on this one semi-truck that was dropped off 40 pallets of Lysol wipes to the transportation department. The amount of those wipes were 122,000. Then all of a sudden they showed up with another semi-truck full of wipes. So we have 244,000 packages of Lysol wipes in our district right now. And that's what Teachers Treasure is out of Indianapolis. So this is what we've done, ensuring that we're a good community partner. And we're going to do more. We just got them on Thursday. We contacted Bishop Knoll, St. Stan's, ECUEA, Lighthouse, East Chicago Health Department, the Carmelite Home. We're reaching out to the Salvation Army. And there's another partner I can't think of right now. We're going to have a drive-through to share these wipes. Yesterday, we were at the Martin Luther King Jr. Day basketball game. We were handing out wipes there. Just take the wipes, y'all, right? I said, they're $6 to $8 a pack, take them. So it didn't matter where they were from, we just handed them out because we want to be a good community partner. And lastly, as Trustee Gomez and Trustee Smith and Trustee Rodriguez were just talking, there are several bills that we need to watch legislatively as school board members and as educators. One of them is House Bill 1134, although Senate Bill 167 has died. House Bill 1134 is still alive as well. So is House Bill 1040. Both of these bills take issue with how schools teach about race and racism. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. So I'm asking for you all to advocate, write to legislator, give them a call. This impacts everyone in the state of Indiana. This is just not an isolated topic for East Chicago. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we'll move to trustee remarks.
Madam President,
Trustee Gomez.
thank you. I just have one item. I just received this email today at 2:01 p.m. It's from the United States Hispanic Leadership Institute. They are having a student leadership series launch and undergraduate college recruitment fair on February 17th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. I bring this up because the deadline to register students is January 30th, 2022. The program is available to students and staff. Best of all, the cost is free. So I will forward this to Superintendent Finley after this meeting, and hopefully we can get some interest generated for our students to attend this recruitment fair. That's all I have.
Any other trustee remarks?
Yes, I'd like to thank Trustee Gomez with the resolution regarding the partisans bill. I think that you're doing an awesome job in representing us, our district. And from what I'm reading and from what my research is saying, we might have a chance to beat this. That Senate Bill 167, that's a blessing in disguise. Education Matters, it did not make it, but like Superintendent Dr. Finley said, we have to be very, very careful because they have iterated or maneuvered a way to put some of that into another bill. I will give you an update all the time on where we are with these bills. I just wanted to say that we need to constantly keep in contact with our legislators, like she said. This year is a short session, and the bill filing deadline for legislators was on Tuesday. A total of 859 bills were filed for introduction this session. Of all legislation, there are only approximately 140 bills that the association is tracking. So we need to come together, start writing, and start being very much aware of what's going on downstate. As of February the 14th, 2022, the State House Day. So we would have a chance to go talk to our legislators in the House and in the Senate and voice our concerns, and also sit in on committees. A lot of these bills will not make it to committee. They would make it to committee, but they won't make it to the House. So we all have to just be prayerful that we just keep writing, and the Indiana School Board Association is doing their job. That's all I wanted to say. And I will keep you abreast on as much information as I possibly can. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other trustee remarks? I just want to say thank you to staff and the teachers and everyone who's involved in having children come back into the school building. Everyone's on edge, I understand, but I thank you for thinking about the students. I'm in my community and I hear both sides, why we should keep them and why we shouldn't. But then I go to the data that says there's children passing when they're in person. And I think that is a big key to why decisions are made. I had a teacher send me this about the school year, the ending of the school year, and they said a positive mindset, not only for ourselves individually, but for students is what we need. As we are on the business of students, their well-being and student achievement. And I think we should all, not only ourselves as board members, staff, but community members should always think that, because if they're not in school, if they're not here, then why are we here at the end of the day? So that's all I have. Next, we'll go to public forum. Yeah.
could please state your name and your address when you step to the microphone. Your time will be limited to 3 minutes. Please be respectful of the audience, the board, and staff members that are present. And also please adhere to the board's official policy governing public participation, which is found on the district's website. Thank you.
Up first would be Patty Gibson King.
Hi, Patty Gibson King, 4102 Parish Avenue. I want to wish you all a Happy New Year's. We didn't get a chance to do that, but Happy New Year's to the board. First thing I want to address is on the personnel report, January the 4th. Interim Finley was recommended a company called Spring Lab to do COVID testings for the public and for teachers at all schools. This was approved by the board. Correct me if I'm wrong. And this company said the test results will be back within 24 to 48 hours, but this didn't happen. Teachers took the test January the 10th, and the results did not come back until June the 15th, 2022. So this would allow the teachers or in the school building, we don't know if they're positive or not, but they're there because the test is not done in a timely manner. So, but they said that they would do it within 24 to 48 hours, but this didn't happen. So I'm saying wasted dollars. Another thing I want to address is the work session that was December the 7th. And you had your topics. I don't have to discuss what they are. You know what they were. But one thing was that when we were given this and when we were told to come to the meeting, as we always try to explain to the board, is that if we have information beforehand, don't ask us no questions when you're doing the presentation. Ask us for what's our concern, because we don't know what it is until we're here, such as the presentation that you just did. Now, we may want to talk about it, but we just not getting it. We don't have this. The information is not on the website or anywhere. So with that being said, your agenda that you gave for that work session, it was not, the community's input was not implemented in what we would like to see done with those dollars. We have shared that information with you, Finley, even though you're the interim, but we suspect now that since we don't know when that we're going to get a superintendent, but you're here using all these dollars, and then when we do get a superintendent, money be gone. For what we're saying here, because that's what you're sitting there doing. A lot of things being put in place while you're here, but when the real person come in, if they do come, we don't even know if you're applying for the position or not. We asked you that question, but you never say it. So I would just, okay, but no, that's all that I have to address right now, since I have to be distracted. But I thank you though.
Thank you. That was it.
Thank you. With that being said, thank you for bringing up the superintendent search. I forgot to mention that, but let's mention that. So the superintendent application and brochure for the school district is actually on our website for the school city of East Chicago. So when you come to our meetings, it's the scdc.k12.in.us. In the menu tab on the left-hand corner, you scroll down, or it's the second one, actually. Jeremy, if you could pull it up, that'd be great. So we can just see it. And a big shout out to our to Jeremy, Dr. Finley, for actually doing the brochure, highlighting the data that we have for our school district. I actually have received many compliments for the brochure. So Jeremy, I know you're in the back handling our Zoom, but thank you. So with that being said, this was actually posted on yesterday, and it's going to be up until February the 18th. So anyone who's interested will fill out this paperwork. Now, this goes directly to our research team. They're going off of what our wants and the survey results were asked for. So we will be working with the survey team to see what those survey results were and who we were going to bring in, as well as we're going to work with the superintendent search team, meet with them soon to come up with topics and the timeline for the interview process. So we're moving along, but thank you for reminding me to make announcements about the application being up. The next date and time of the meeting will be February 7th, 2022, here at the school board, or at the administration building. And I please have a motion for adjournment.
Madam President, make a motion to adjourn.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Trustee Williams seconds the motion. Roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez